Hi friends, I'm Walker and welcome back to Olive Ave Nails, where we talk about vegan and cruelty-free nail polish. Today we're doing another video in my kale polish dupes comparison series. I am looking for dupes for all of the kale polishes that I own. I don't own them all, but I own most of them. If you haven't heard, I'm sure you've heard, but kale polish is closing soon. I don't know. They've been closing for several months now, but they are definitely marking down lots of things. They're out of stock on a lot of things. They did a final restock a couple weeks ago, and I am trying to find dupes for them in my collection. If you're new to this series or my channel, I only use polishes that are cruelty-free and vegan, and I try to find ones that are as clean or as toxin-free as possible. You know, nail polish will always have chemicals in it, but I try to find the ones that are the least toxic and avoid the ingredients that I have done research on and feel like are ingredients that I don't want to include in my body. So the options that I'm presenting today are not going to include OPI or SE. I know that there are dupes out there for some kale polishes, but I hope that you're happy with the kind of brands that I've chosen and the dupes that I have found. Okay, anyways, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about these four polishes. Today we're looking at dupes for Broccoli and Chocolate, Aquarius 2, Jane, and Sagittarius. These are four lovely shades, and I'm really excited to share these dupes with you. All right, so this is Kale Polish Aquarius 2. This one is a kind of very fine scattered holographic in a dark blue base. The base here is a little bit like denim-y blue maybe, and the one that I think everybody compared this to when it first came out was Zoya's Dream. And so I am going to do that comparison today as well. In the bottle, Dream does look a little bit brighter of a blue, but they're pretty close. So we're going to take a look at these. Alright, so I am going to say that Dream is probably about a, I don't know, like a 9, an 8.75. It is pretty close to being a dupe, and when I took my fingers like out of the swatching lights and I looked at them kind of from a distance, you know, like held them up in front of my face, I could not tell as much of a difference as I could when I was staring at them up close. And so I think if you wore, you know, Aquarius 2 one day and Dream the next day, no one would be able to tell the difference. And to me, that's a pretty good sign that they are close enough to be considered dupes. Alright, next up is Kale Polish Broccoli and Chocolate, and this is a really pretty milky chocolate polish. This one is super popular from the Kale Polish line, and I'm going to be comparing it to Zoya's Louise, which looks pretty close. Zoya has a lot of browns, but this is the one that I felt like was the closest to this kind of like fudgy color. And then I also have London Town Lacquer Pence by the pound, which again looks kind of like this fudgy, milky chocolate brown. I have other browns in my collection that are either more like plummy or more gray, but these two are kind of the most chocolatey, the most closest to Broccoli and Chocolate. Alright, so I'm going to say that Louise is like a 10 out of 10. These are identical. I could not tell a difference on my nails. So Louise is a 10 out of 10 dupe for Kale Polish Broccoli and Chocolate. I am going to try the London Town one, you know, just to see if it's as similar or maybe a little bit different. All right, so I'm gonna say that this one is also a dupe, 10 out of 10. This is London Town Lacquer Pence by the Pound. It is super close. It is maybe a little bit of a thinner formula than the Kale Polish, but I think the colors are pretty much dupes. The Zoya, of course, is a little bit cheaper than the London Town Lacquer, but you know, any of these are going to be a great dupe for Broccoli and Chocolate if you're looking for a nice brown polish. All right, the next polish that we're looking at is Kale Polish Jane, and this one is this really pretty kind of super rosy mauve color. This one's a really popular one from Kale Polish. It's a really pretty, like, neutrally polish. A lot of people really like this one. I'm going to compare it to two Zoyas. The first one I'm going to compare it to is Padma. The next one that I'm going to compare it to is Paige. I've done a comparison of both of these Zoyas with other Zoyas that are similar to this, and I don't know that either of them look identical in the bottle, but on my swatch sticks they looked pretty close, and so I do want to see what they look like on the nails. I don't know that we're going to have an exact dupe here, but I do think we're going to get pretty close. So Padma is probably like an 8.5. They're pretty close, but it is a little bit too pink. It's not quite as purple and grayed out. I mean, I do think, you know, if you're not a polish collector, these might be totally fine for you, totally close enough dupes, but Jane is definitely a little bit more grayed out, a little bit less kind of bright pink. Alright, so there's Paige. I think Paige is closer than Padma is, but it's still a little bit too pink, but just like a hair. So I think this one's probably a 9. It is really, really, really close, especially if I kind of hold my hand, you know, away a little bit. It's harder to see the difference. So I think this one's closer to a 9. It is not quite red enough though. Alright, so here we have Paige and Padma, and I am going to say that Paige is just a little bit closer of a dupe to Jane. It doesn't quite look like it in the bottle. I think they look pretty different, but I think it's closer than my friend Padma over here by just a hair. It's a little bit closer to being the right amount of purple. None of these are perfect, but if you liked Jane and you're looking for something similar, I think that either of these would be really nice for you. All right, so next up is Kale Polish Sagittarius. This is another one from the Zodiac collection. This is a really pretty, super deep, dark purple. This one's not quite black, but it is really deep on the nails. And I'm going to compare it to two Zoyas. First I have Lael, which looks very similar in the bottle. It is again another really deep, almost black purple. And then I have Lydia, which is another super deep purple. And these two look super close in the bottle. I feel like it's kind of hard to tell even a difference between them. And so I'm excited to see which one is closest. Alright, so the first one we looked at is Lael, and I'm going to say this is like a 9.5. It's super close. I think it's like a hair more red toned than Sagittarius is, but it is super close. So I really like Lael as a dupe for Sagittarius. It's really close, 9.5. Alright friends, so here is Lydia. It is not quite as dark as Sagittarius, so it's a really pretty color, but it's not quite a perfect dupe. I mean, this one's probably like a I don't know, like an 8.5. It's like really close. It's just not quite as deep and dark. All right, so it turns out that definitely Lyell is deeper on the nails, and so I'm gonna say it's a little bit closer to Sagittarius than Lydia. Both are really gorgeous polishes, but I think if you're going for the closest dupe you can get, Lyell is where I would put my money.